Hi, my name is Jose Gomez, and today I'll be talking about the commercial impact of social media and explain this complex subject in the most simplistic term. I do want to say heads up, I'm going to talk a little fast because I wrote a lot, so just keep that in mind, okay? Well, first, we need to identify who obtains an advantage and disadvantage from this commercial impact, and also establish to whom this impact really matters. Well, if you're either a consumer or a producer of any service or good, then this matters to you because it has critically made your sales or purchases more accessible, but it globally matters to developing and developed countries, and obviously the human race. Since developed countries have a much larger exposure to social media than developing countries, their production in the commercial world is bigger than the developing country. On the other hand, developing countries are shunned from most of the benefits social media has brought to the rest of the world, therefore leaving developing countries in a disadvantage of any potential commercial success that could alleviate issues that rely on the country's commercial success, such as health improvements, wealth, population, and commercial leverage. This tells us a lot about our world, but to keep it short, the commercial impact of social media simply shows how more interdependent the world is becoming and also how globalization continues to be the main fuel behind innovation. That being said, it is clear to us, being part of the Western population, we receive most of the benefits social media creates on the business world, helping us further understand why our country triumphs economically while others unfairly don't. The path social media is taking the business world reflects how badly we want the best. Our consumer demands are molding how the producers present their services, from improvement in consumer services, accessibility of any product, through social media and the urge of the producers to increase their efficiency. This global pressure we as consumers create shows how much we want the best in everything. Alright, I know I haven't talked about the commercial impact of social media directly, but before I do, I just want to elaborate on why this topic really matters and who the big player is, so that your answer at the end, if you have any questions, are more concrete. The reason this topic is important is because it discloses new limits to our consumer driven society and our growth and interdependence. Not only does it reveal expansion, but also the behavior of countries when they are given a tool, which is in this case social media, that could help unimaginable amount of people and what they do with it. For the big player in this business, well, it's basically the brand image. Social media changed the game and gave brand image to of companies a more important role in internationally. The image of a brand gives the image of a brand gives now builds awareness and loyalty when they connect to their consumer, creating a stronger bond, which eventually translates to bigger profits for the company. The importance of brand image to the company is shown when they hire workers. Their employees are constantly reminded of the importance of customer service and how they are themselves the face of company and represent it. I'm pretty sure you've been exposed to this before. Well, now that the small details are covered up, let's talk about what the commercial impact of social media has been and where exactly this impact took place in the world of business. The impact on the world of business for merchandising with the aid of SNS, also known as social media, can be easily exposed by comparing the amount of money invested in advertising a specific year and the amount invested a decade after. Advertising dates back to the 1700s in the history of the US. An example of what the commercial impact of social media is that could grasp the magnitude of the impact in a simple illustration is shown in an article written by Tony McGain from University College Dublin and David Shimpling from Trinity College. According to the data they gathered, in 1987 the worldwide advertising market was valued at $2 billion, but towards the end of the 20th century, that same market was valued at $18.1 billion. That is an increase of 9 times its own value. Now that's a huge burst. And some of you may be asking, where did the social media do right to create such an increase in investment into the economy globally? Well, it's simple. It has changed the communication between the consumers and producers. Communication is a fundamental key to strengthening the network needed to build brand image, responsible for success in the business world. Just in case some of my terms were hard to understand, even though I did promise to break it down for you as simple as possible, here are some key definitions that could better clarify and explain what I said earlier. Networking is a supportive system of sharing information and services among individuals and groups having the same common interests. Brand image are the attributes of a brand as perceived by the potential and actual consumers. Interdependence, as we heard before earlier in the semester, is a mutual dependence between things and people. Now, I know that some of you will be asking, Jose, how is this relevant to global citizenship? Is it even related? Well, believe it or not, everything we've talked about so far relates to the concept of global citizenship. But to be more specific, the commercial impact of social media is a contributor to our growth and improvement. Therefore, it allows both consumers and producers to be part of the global communities to engage in issues dealing with their environmental society. The fact that we participate daily in the business world without being aware shows how much social media has changed. Well, or changed our lives. We are constantly exposed to advertising and ads unintentionally, making us participate and recognize our global citizenship. Well, if you have any questions, just go ahead and put them down here.